Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Brian Sutfield.
That's fucking right. And hey, listen, guys, if you're new to the show, welcome. What we do on this show is we take, an actor, actress, genre, what have you, and we'll make a top 5 list according to that, honoring said movie coming out that week or whatever, and we'll just make a list between each of us. And that's the cool thing, is that we don't know each other's lists and stuff. We go our separate ways, come back, and then we explain our lists and whatnot. And the cool thing is, this thing is live, so we have no idea what the hell's going to come out of our mouths. So yeah, and hey, if you're watching on YouTube and you want an audio-only version of the podcast, the link will be in the description below. And if you're listening on Spreaker and you want a video version to see my lovely Silence the Lamb setting because it decided to rain when we recorded, then you can do that. Link will be in the description below. But first, let me introduce my co-host, Brian. How are we doing this week?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Oh, just it's been a busy week. I got some professional pictures done, and I'm starting to slowly sprinkle them on my YouTube page and my podcast page and Facebook and whatnot, and just become more professional and whatnot. So it's been a pretty interesting week, and I've been trying to catch up on some Edward Norton films. And I gotta let you guys know, and I gotta let Brian know this, is that I was actually watching Primal Fear before this episode, and I didn't finish it. So I'm sorry. So it won't be on my list. But speaking of Primal Fear, Brian, first, before we get into the topic, you said you're doing pretty good?
Yes, sir.
Good week. You want to tell people where you're going?
I'm going away on vacation. I don't want to disclose the location, but I guess I have to.
We have so many rabid fans that are going to come find you.
All right. On Sunday and Monday, I will be in Orlando at Universal. Both parks simultaneously. First day, Universal Studios, and then the next day, on to Avengers, where famous Hogwarts is. So if you see a ginger and you see that he's short as hell, you're like, oh, look, it's that ginger from YouTube. Please come by and say hello or shalom if you want. And then from Tuesday to Friday, I will be on a Disney cruise to the Bahamas. And if you see me there, and if there are any fans outside of, the United States, please say hello.
Yeah, seriously, go up to Brian and pat him on the back and, feed him, water him, just take care of him. No, I'm actually really curious to see who does listen to this show and whatnot. The only fan I know is good old Kenny that was on our show and stuff. So, it's just interesting to see people, be like, I've watched your show and stuff. It's like, really? Like, you never comment or anything. So yeah, that's why we're recording this a day early. But on Spreaker, you get it just now, and then on YouTube, you will see it at the time which it comes on, which is Saturday. But yeah, that's a long ass intro. Sorry for the opening, guys. But we missed you. Me and Brian missed you. So Brian, what are we doing this week?
We are honoring Edward Norton, like Chase just said. His new movie, Sausage Party, just came out this week. And yeah, that's
okay. Thank you for that.
I saw the movie last night.
I saw it this morning.
I can't even begin to explain anything. I just want to brief. Well, just before we get into our thoughts on Edward Norton, I just want to say the last 10 minutes, I can't remember the last ending that left that big of an impact on me since God knows what.
Yeah, if you guys want to know my thoughts on Sausage Party, I record my podcast on Sunday. So yeah, you'll get my full thoughts then. But I don't want to ruin the surprise now. So yeah, no, he's in Sausage Party and stuff. So we decided to go with Edward Norton and kind of just honor this man who we say this a lot with many actors, but he's a chameleon. He can basically just kind of snake his way into little projects here and there and just really kind of stand out on his own. And really deliver really great performances. And I think, with this list, excluding Primal Fear, because I only got through half of it, sorry. Even though he's really good at it, I will give him that, but I need to finish the movie. The ones I did pick, they definitely stand out for his performance for sure. And I'm sure we'll have similarities and stuff and whatnot. So it's going to be really fun to talk about Edward Norton. He's just one of those guys I always look forward to. So, Brian, before we get into our list, when you think of Edward Norton, what do you think of?
Honestly, when I first started watching his films, I only saw him from the dramatic side. But then when I found out that he has true comedic chops when he's in films like Grand Budapest Hotel, Moonrise Kingdom, Birdman, and even Sausage Party, like this guy basically has more range. He's a terrific actor. He's honestly one of the best in the industry. He's a very method actor. I mean, honestly, that's why he was cast in Birdman specifically for that. We'll talk about Birdman later on. It has to be on our list. If it's not, then I don't even know where to begin. But I love Edward Norton. I think of him more as a dramatic actor, but I do love it whenever he goes outside the drama and do something else, like the actions, the thrillers, the comedies, the sci-fi stuff. I love that. The superhero stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I love Edward Norton, and I'm really excited to talk about him.
Yeah, no, he's just one of those versatile actors, and I know we say that with some actors and actresses, but it's true. If you're a versatile actor or actress, you are a grade A at what you do. Like, you were just one of the best. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. I think a 5-minute intro is one of the longest ones we've ever done. Sorry, I get carried on sometimes, and I need to be roped in. So, all right. Number 5. So, Brian, I have to ask you every single week, and I'll ask you again this week. What is your number 5 favorite Edward Norton film of all time?
My number 5 is a criminally underrated film that no one ever talks about. I don't even think anyone ever saw this film. My number 5 is a little film called Leaves of Grass. Have you ever heard of this one?
Nope. Explain it.
Okay, the only thing you have to know is that he's playing 2 characters. He's playing 2 characters in the film. This is a very small indie film. It was directed by Tim Blake Nelson, and one of Edward Norton's characters plays like a Boston University professor. I think it's Boston University. I may be wrong. It's something with a B, and then it ends with university. It could be any school. I don't even know. And then his twin brother is basically a weed dealer, weed smoker, anything with the weed, and it's something so different for Edward Norton that it's worth watching specifically for his performance. And the thing that I don't love this film, I like it a lot. I like it a lot, but I love it whenever actors play 2 characters in one movie. Like, I love what Armie Hammer did in Social Network and what Jake Gyllenhaal did in Enemy. I just saw that Jesse Eisenberg movie, The Double, not too long ago. That was a very interesting one. There's been many actors that have done it before. Leo, unfortunately, did not do it very well in that, like, Romeo and Juliet sequel that I don't even remember the name of it. And, yeah, Leaves of Grass. It's an interesting film. It's definitely one that should be checked out, and it's one that no one ever talks about, especially considering the fact that Edward Norton is great in it.
What is it called again?
Leaves of Grass.
How come it's not on his IMDb page?
What do you mean?
I've scrolled up and down for it, and, like, it's not on there.
What?
That's the one you were talking about. I wanted to, like, kind of look at the cast and all that.
Go on his Wikipedia. Go to his Wikipedia or something.
Wow, that's actually a first, everyone, because usually, like, if it's a film I haven't heard about or just haven't seen in a long time, I usually just kind of go visit the page and just kind of look at it and stuff. And
holy shit, it isn't there.
That's not on his IMDb page. That's actually a first. So hold on, guys. There's a reason why we do this live. I have to look at this movie because if Brian talks about it and stuff, I have to check it out. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, hold on. How you guys doing? You guys doing pretty good? Leaves of Grass. Like, I was thinking I wasn't crazy because I was looking up the IMDb page and I was like, okay, he said something with grass. Okay, let me look at it. Okay.
Oh, they listed as something different. They listed as like a foreign film on IMDb. They listed as Escroc and Hembre. That must be how you say it in Spanish.
Okay.
That's weird.
Okay, well,
it's not even a foreign film.
Whoops. Yeah, no, I can't really explain it. So, yeah, no, I'll have to check it out because I really love when actors play, 2 separate roles or whatever, and it's obviously the same person. Just like what he brought up with The Social Network, like that's the only good thing I've seen Armie Hammer in so far. I have heard good things about The Double with Jesse Eisenberg. It's on my Netflix queue. I'll definitely check it out and whatnot. But yeah, no, I really love those movies. And now that I did find out on IMDb, since it's listed under a different name, 2009 and stuff, so it's actually pretty recent Norton. So I am surprised I haven't even heard about it. So yeah, I'll definitely check it out. My number 5, I'm going to go with the first film I ever saw Edward Norton in, or at least acknowledge that he was in it, going, I think that was pretty cool. I'm going to go with The Italian Job, the remake. Now, is it the best movie in the world? No. But I like range in actors or actresses, like repertoire and stuff. And for this one, it's not necessarily like the best thing in the world. And I never have seen the original, but I hear that's a classic and whatnot. but he's fun in this one. He plays like a very cheesy, hammed up villain and stuff, and I just like I enjoy watching him kind of flip out and curse and stuff. And he's got the best F-bomb in the movie, and it's a PG-13 movie, so back in the day it was just 1. Now they're a little bit lenient now, they go to 2, but he had the one F word in the movie, and his safe truck, one of those like bank armored trucks or whatever, like falls through the highway, and he's like, where the fuck is my truck? And it's the best little freak out movie line ever. But just him battling, like, hey, Mark, how's it going? Did you guys miss his voice? Yeah, I miss his voice. And, Charlize Theron and Seth Green and stuff, they're just trying to foil Edward Norton or whatever. And he's just having such a good time. And it's a dopey little average action movie. But that was the first thing I ever saw him in. He was having fun. I was having fun. So it's just a fun little role. So, Brian, I know for a damn fact this ain't on your fucking list. So would you like to talk about it?
It is not on my list. I do like that film quite a bit. And yeah, that F-bomb that Edward Norton says is pretty hilarious. Probably because
it's my truck.
Yeah, I haven't seen that film in quite some time. And yeah, it's a pretty darn good one. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters, and I just had such a fun time with it, like I said, and I just remembered him specifically, not only because of that line, but just the overall tone of the movie. And I was like, this guy's fucking awesome. What else has he been in? And I guess, just several years later, I would see him in The Incredible Hulk, and then I would realize that, hey, he's in other films, and watch some of his older films and stuff. So yeah, that was my gateway drug into the Norton. So moving on to Brian with his number 4.
I'm breaking the rule. I'm actually breaking 2 rules.
The fuck? Don't be. Listen, you can break.
No. You
listen,
you
Brian.
know what
Brian Sudsy. You can break one rule, and I might be okay with that. I might let you slide. But if you break 2 fucking rules in one episode, I might flip a dick and just go and shut this episode down.
My number 4 involves that. It's Fight Club.
How was that breaking? Oh, you motherfucker. Go fuck yourself. I hate you. Did you see what he did? He got me, guys. He punked me. Don't worry. I'll get him back at the end of the day.
I didn't think I would. I thought you would understand it the moment I said it.
Oh, God. Okay, so anyway.
I really thought you would understand.
So anyways, Brian, can you explain to everyone why you hate puppies and little baby and children, and why did you put it so low?
Well, my top 3, I like those films more because here's the thing with me and Fight Club. I love Fight Club a lot. It's right there in my Blu-ray collection. One of the first Blu-rays I actually got. And, look, whenever you think of Fincher, you think of, like, pretty much everything he's done. Everyone says, like, this is the best thing he's ever done. I disagree. Like, listen, is it the weirdest film he's ever done? I think so. It is the weirdest film he's ever done. Other than The Game. I think The Game...
Oh, I love it.
I don't know which one's weirder. I've seen Fight Club more. I've only seen The Game once, so I can't really. But anyways, look, Fight Club is a great film, and Edward Norton's amazing. I've always loved the fact that you never know his name. I've always loved that. Like, you never learn his name. I love how it's just credited as narrator. I love that. That's really clever on everyone's part. His performance is great. His back and forth with Mr. Pitt, Brad is amazing. I mean, everything with Edward Norton in this movie is great. I mean, the whole fighting sequences. I want you to hit me as hard as you can. When he beats himself up in the office, that scene always gets to me. I remember when I first saw the movie, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I love this. I love this scene. I love Fight Club a lot. It's a great film. It's just not like my favorite Fincher film. Like, some people label it as the best Fincher film. I disagree. The Social Network, to me, is the best thing that Fincher's ever directed. It's also my favorite one, probably because it's the first one of his I've ever seen. But Fight Club is still amazing. I think that might have been the first Edward Norton film I ever saw. Like, excluding The Incredible Hulk, because I saw that when I was a kid. Fight Club was the first movie where I saw him, and I was like, you know what? This guy's, like, pretty damn amazing. So yeah, Fight Club is my number 4, and I know what Chase is going to say. I am going to pass.
And you are correct. I'm glad it's on your list. So,
of course,
my number 4, I'm going to go with a recent one. I'll go with Birdman, the unexpected, whatever the fuck. Do you guys remember when that movie was nominated, and every single time when something was nominated, they would say the full fucking title, and it's like, hey, yo, dickhead, can you just say Birdman and move on? So, because it's not like they were just like, Boyhood and the 12-year filmmaking experience. No, it said fucking Boyhood. And I know that like Birdman's title is that long, but just stop. Just stop it, Oscars. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with Birdman. I really enjoyed his performance because it felt the most like real and more just really kind of natural, whatever, because he was kind of playing himself and whatnot, and so he can kind of fit into that role a little easier than most of his other roles. And not only is the film shot impeccably with the dreamlike kind of one shot take gimmick, which is actually shot in 7 shots, but with the magic and power of editing, you can make it look like one shot. And his role, like the one thing I like about Birdman is his role and all the other supporting roles are really well handled, and they actually are very integral to the story. Him, Emma Stone, everyone, Naomi Watts, everyone does their part, and it's not just Michael Keaton's movie, it's everyone's movie because everyone's got their moment to shine. Edward Norton definitely has his moment to shine when he's fighting in his underwear. It was him, right? It wasn't Michael Keaton, or was it both? I forgot.
He fought in his underwear.
Okay, so yeah, he fought in his underwear. That was such a really awkward but kind of like semi-realistic fight sequence because fights in real life are actually awkward and not like stylized. So, but no, there was a lot of depth to his character and stuff when he was talking with like Emma Stone and whatnot. So there was a lot to him. Was he playing himself? Sure. He was very natural at it. It came across as natural, and he's a part of a really good ensemble cast in a really good movie. That's why I'm going to put Birdman as my number 4. I am going to assume Brian's going to pass on this one.
You are absolutely correct, sir.
Look at that. Look at that fucking shit, guys. Look at that fucking shit. I'm sorry. I just watched Sausage Party today, so I'm probably going to be cursing way more than usual. All right, so number 3, Brian, take it away.
To be quite honest with you, I don't think this one's on your list, and if it is, I would think it's number 3. So my number 3 is Moonrise Kingdom.
No, it is not.
Damn.
Okay, let me just give a little caveat before I continue on. I didn't put any Wes Anderson movies on my list. I like Edward Norton in the movies, but he is not the standout in any of those movies. He's fine, but for Grand Budapest, I clean more onto Ray Fiennes or like Moonrise Kingdom.
Well, Grand Budapest is not in it that much. I mean, his character's big.
But I know, but I'm saying when I think of like Moonrise Kingdom, I think of more of like Bruce Willis's character and stuff and the little kids, not Edward Norton. So that's the only reason why I didn't put any Wes Anderson movies, even though I can appreciate him being a part of those 2 movies.
I got you. Okay, so Moonrise Kingdom for me, to me the standout is Bill Murray. He's the standout of this film.
He's the standout in any Wes Anderson movie.
That's true. Even in Grand Budapest when he's only in for one scene.
Yep.
So Edward Norton in this movie, he plays the scout counselor, camp counselor of the boy that runs away. He says the quirkiest lines I think ever. I never expected Edward Norton to say anything like this quirky. Like he's like, Jiminy Cricket, he flew the coop. Like that. I'm like, Edward Norton.
Yep.
Brother, that's amazing. And then, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I put this movie on. Like, it's a great Wes Anderson film. It was the second one I ever saw after Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I love the story. It takes place in the 60s. These 2 kids run away. They fall in love and stuff. And then you have, you obviously have the cop played by Bruce Willis. It's probably his best performance in like years. Then you got Edward Norton as the camp counselor. Then you got Frances McDormand and Bill Murray as the parents of the little girl. And everyone's great. Everyone's great. But I put this film on specifically for how great Edward Norton was, even though he wasn't the standout or my favorite performance in the film. I just think that for such a quirky performance coming out of someone like Edward Norton, who's done so much dark and intense stuff, this was something so different for him. And I loved seeing him in this. And I hope he does more. I know he was in Grand Budapest Hotel. He played the main cop. And he was great in that one, but this is the bigger Wes Anderson movie that he was in when it comes to his role, and I hope that he's in Wes Anderson's other films in the future. Grand Budapest Hotel is the best Wes Anderson film I ever saw, but Moonrise Kingdom is a damn good one, and it's a good one to start off with. Is my number 3.
What, like, Wes Anderson's whole his whole niche is vintage, kind of really colorful, artsy look. Moonrise Kingdom is the is pretty much that, because I really like the whole, like, young love type of story mixed in with his quirky humor and stuff, and mixed in with the colors. And it is set in a different decade and stuff. So that is definitely the one movie in his whole repertoire that fits that time frame super, super well. And Moonrise Kingdom is definitely a very good movie to watch and stuff. I found it at like a pawn store like a couple months ago for like $1, and I was like, yeah, I want to build my Wes Anderson collection up. So I definitely bought it and stuff. I would recommend Moonrise Kingdom and Grand Budapest Hotel the most, and those are his most recent ones, especially if someone's really kind of curious about Wes Anderson movies. I would start with his most recent ones. Even, Brian's going to vouch for it and stuff, and I haven't seen it, but once I find it for cheap, I'm going to buy it and just blind buy it. Fantastic Mr. Fox and stuff. So all I've heard is like his recent stuff is like his best stuff. So it's great to know that he's getting better and better. And the cool thing about his movies is once he latches onto an actor or actress, he uses them interchangeably throughout everything. So the fact that he's worked with Norton twice now, I'll guarantee he's going to work with him again in the future, and it'll be a great thing to see. So, but yeah, I couldn't put it on there, but I understand why people could. All right. My number 3, I'm going to go with the one to where if he didn't act like such a goddamn baby, then we might have him in the universe. However, I'm fine with Mark Ruffalo. I'm going to go with The Incredible Hulk. Listen, is it my favorite Marvel movie? No, but I think he really captured Bruce Banner / the Hulk pretty damn well, and I wouldn't have actually minded to see him continue on, because a lot of people don't know this. Incredible Hulk is actually in the Marvel canon. Iron Man came out in 2008, and The Incredible Hulk came out the same year. And right after The Incredible Hulk was Iron Man 2, then Thor, then Captain America, and then the Avengers, and so on, so on, so on. So Incredible Hulk is a part of canon, and I thought for the most part he did a really good job. I believe the fact that he was, a lab rat and was very smart at what he does and become the angry monster within and stuff. And I really enjoyed the action sequences. I thought Abomination was a better villain than whatever the fuck the villain was in the first Hulk gross with Eric Bana. So there wasn't that much of the Abomination, but I saw something there to where like they could bring him back and stuff, and it would be a really cool fucking fight, because he's basically the Doomsday to the Hulk or whatever. So I think it's a really solid Marvel movie. I believed every single moment he was on screen. I liked his chemistry with Liv Tyler, and I'm not really a huge fan of hers. The only 2 movies I've ever liked her in are The Incredible Hulk and The Strangers. The Strangers is probably my favorite thing she's ever done, and probably what she'll ever do. I just have never found her like compelling or whatever, but her chemistry with Edward Norton, I believed it. I believed that Betty Ross, was in love with Bruce Banner and stuff. And it was great to see in Civil War, Thunderbolt Ross, played by William Hurt, come back for that movie, because it does show people that, hey, Incredible Hulk still in the canon and stuff. So it is very sad what happened behind the scenes and the fact that he didn't come back. I love Mark Ruffalo and stuff, so I'm glad he's continue on the Bruce Banner Hulk train. But if Edward Norton did decide to not be a little crybaby about it and join, then I would have been totally fine with it. But as far as a standalone movie goes, I like it quite a bit. It is a very good comic movie. So, Brian, would you like to pass or move on?
This is not on my list. To be quite honest with you, I haven't seen this film since 2012, right before the Avengers came out. And I agree with you that Edward Norton did a great job, and I would have loved to have seen him continue this role, but I do really like Mark Ruffalo in this role. I mean, yeah, it's stupid that he did all the stuff behind the scenes. To be quite honest with you, I don't really remember much of the film to begin with, so I can't really say if I ended up liking it. I remember not disliking it, so I can tell you that. So I'll probably check it out again sometime. I have it on DVD, and I remember liking it quite a bit. It's probably my least favorite MCU film, the one I don't remember the most. So
yeah, no, I get that, because it's true. Like, we're what are we, 12 films deep in this universe, and that's the second one that came out, and so a lot of people don't remember it because it's so far into the past, and not a lot of people associate it with the universe because it's with Edward Norton and not Mark Ruffalo. So I get why people just don't really want to watch it or whatever, but it is nice to go back and watch it every now and then, because if they're bringing back Thunderbolt Ross for this universe, holy shit, they could bring back anyone from that fucking movie. So continue to watch it and like pick up on all the little hints and stuff, and maybe some of from that movie will be in a future film. So Yeah, that is my number 3. So, guys, we're moving on to our top 2. Now, I know for a damn fact that we have the same number 1. If we don't, then yeah, fuck me, right? So, as far as Brian's number 2 goes, I seriously thought we had the same number 2s. Now, here's where I think I'm probably going to nail this, is because Brian has told me for the longest time to watch Primal Fear. Watch it. Like I said, I watched about half of it today. I need to finish it, but he's very good in the film as, this altar boy or whatever being put on the stand because they think that he murdered a priest. Which, by the way, that whole opening scene with the priest dying, dear Lord, that violence was like Quentin Tarantino shit. I'm just like, what movie am I in? But it works though. Yeah, so I'll finish it. So I'm actually going to say this. Brian's number 2 is Primal Fear, and Brian's number 1, we're not going to reveal yet, is my number 1. So, Brian, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Birdman.
Oh, whoops. Well, hey, guys, listen. You might just, sit there and just kind of laugh at the fact that I got it wrong, but that's, once in a blue moon. I'm, right 99.9% of the time. That's the 0.1% I'm, just wrong on. So, don't worry. I'll get it again next week, guys. Come on.
Well, Birdman is, my 5th favorite film of the decade so far. I absolutely loved it. I rewatched it today, and, I can watch this movie over and over again. This is a movie that doesn't really bore me. It never gets tiring. I love Birdman to death. As a film lover, it's really special to me. And I mean, I've said this numerous times. I thought Michael Keaton should have won the Oscar. But if J.K. Simmons and if Whiplash did not come out in 2014, I would have given the Best Supporting Actor Oscar to Mr. Edward Norton. Because this, like you said, Chase, he's playing himself. And in certain ways, he's playing himself. The first scene where we introduce him on the stage, where he meets with Regan, Michael Keaton's character, and they basically rehearse the whole scene. And then he's like, yes, the kind of love I'm talking about is absolute. The kind of love I'm talking about is absolute. That whole stuff is great. The fight sequence with him in his underwear after he gets out of that tannin booth. It's hilarious. He orders a tannin booth inside a small theater. And I've been inside that theater where that movie takes place. So, I mean, I can kind of tell you that theater is not really the biggest one. But anyway, I digress. So many other scenes stand out with him. I mean, the first performance, he's supposed to be drinking water, which is supposed to be pretend alcohol, but he's actually drinking real gin. And he's like, why aren't you drunk? We're supposed to get drunk. This is the theater, man. This is Carver. He wrote stuff like this. People, put away your fucking cell phones. Watch the theater for once. Experience it. Stop going on those little tiny fucking dumb screens. He stands out in this movie. And it's great. The movie itself is amazing. I'm glad it won Best Picture. I'm glad it won Director, Cinematography, Screenplay. I'm glad it won all that stuff. Like you said, everyone stands out in this film. Everyone has their shine moment. Even the small people like Naomi Watts, Zach Galifianakis, Emma Stone, Edward Norton, and Mr. Michael Keaton. Everyone has their standout moments. Birdman, to me, is a cinematic masterpiece. It's one of the best films of the decade. It was my second favorite film in 2014 behind Whiplash. Guys, if you have not seen Birdman, please check it out. It's not for everybody, but it's worth seeing at least once in your life. That's why Birdman is my second favorite Edward Norton film of all time.
I cannot disagree with you. That was probably my favorite day. One of my favorite double features I've ever done in my life. I did Birdman, and then I did Whiplash right afterwards. And so you open up with Birdman, and it ends on the way it ends. And then you watch Whiplash, and then it ends on such a powerful note. You feel like you've just accomplished the best 4 hours of your life. So, yeah, Birdman is a really great film. And I forgot to mention this. I want to echo that, is that if Whiplash did not come out, you would have seen a better head-to-head duel between Edward Norton and Mark Ruffalo and Foxcatcher for that supporting actor if J.K. Simmons was not around. Because they were both fantastic and, in their respective roles or whatever. But, yeah, J.K. Simmons swept that year, obviously. Yeah, but I can't argue with Birdman. It's just it's a really fine little pick. Yeah, so my number 2. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with Fight Club. Now, I never saw this in theaters. I was 9 years old at the time, so obviously my parents were not going to take me to this really fucked up movie. So I had to watch it later on in life and whatnot. And I didn't. I was like, it was like whatever, at first. But when the more you watch it and stuff, the more genius it gets. And I love the fact that Edward Norton plays an everyday man. That's what's so great about his character in this, is that you can relate to him as you're watching this. He's going crazy and stuff, and like you kind of feel like you're going crazy as you're watching it, like you're going along this journey with him and whatnot. We're not going to spoil the twist or whatever if you still haven't seen it, even though it's almost 20 years old. But yeah, it's still one of the most like iconic twists from the 90s and whatnot. And 99 was a great year. Holy fuck. Fight Club, Magnolia, American Beauty, American Pie, shit. 99 was like one of the best years ever, and I wasn't even old enough to see any of these movies. But yeah, I really like Fight Club. That the whole fucking aesthetic of the movie is really great. It's got like this dark kind of green tone to it, which is what David Fincher movies look like. Brad Pitt's also amazing in it. Like what Brian said, it's very quotable. The sequences, all of them all of them stand out and stuff. Like there's always something quotable from that movie that people reference to. It's a great social commentary on social classes and whatnot, and it's still kind of relevant to today, which is kind of interesting. And yeah, that's about it. It's not my favorite David Fincher film because I gotta be honest with you guys, I like every David Fincher film. It's kind of hard to even fucking compare. And I know a lot of people might look at me weird, but my top three, Fight Club's not even in there. I would probably go with Social Network in no particular order, like Social Network, Seven, and actually Benjamin Button. I really like Benjamin. I don't know why people shit on that movie a lot, and it's just it's a really well told like epic love story, and I think it's something different for Fincher, and I think he nailed it. So screw the haters. Fight Club, that's my number 2, man. So I'll ramp it up. So our number 1 is probably the most relevant movie to today than anything else he's ever done, and he did this movie in the same decade as Fight Club. So he's a part of 2 of the best movies of the entire decade, in my opinion. Number 1 is a film, like I said, to where when you look at the surrounding events of today's times and stuff, and just everything going on in the news and police brutality and racial tensions and stuff, it is so fucking weird how when you watch this movie now, that it is still fucking relevant to today. And it kind of blows your mind. I'm going to let Brian introduce it, and then I'll kick off my portion of it. So Brian, what is our number 1?
Ladies and gentlemen, the top 5 Saturdays Live Edward Norton number 1 film is, of course, American History X. Boom.
Yeah. Now, just a real quick story before I get into my talking points. I got this at a pawn store for $3 because I heard so much great things about it, and I was like, I'm gonna blind buy this because I heard a lot of great things about it. I only watched this movie for the first time, I think 2 years ago. Yeah, a little late to the party. I think people went to the party, they partied, they went home, and I came when everyone was like all passed out. That's how late I was. But holy shit, you want to talk about a movie on character development and transformation and arc? This is one of the best ones I've ever seen. The way Edward Norton's character starts, because he's very supportive of white supremacy and Nazism and stuff, and I don't even think Nazism is a word, sorry, but you guys know what I mean. So when he starts out as that, and just when you see his journey and you see where he ends up, it is like one of the best, like I said, transformations I've seen, and it's just really kind of astounding to see someone with such a strong mindset be kind of swayed the other way from the actions of his past, and you just kind of get blown away by the performance of what Edward Norton does. And listen, I've said this ever since I saw T2, and I'll say it again. Edward Furlong is terrible in fucking Judgment Day. He's the only bad part about that movie. However, he is in this one, and he kicks ass. I love him in American History X. He finally redeems himself, thank God. But I loved just everything about this movie in terms of just the way the movie begins with that powerful fucking opening. Holy shit. Curb stomp, motherfucker. Like, when I first saw that, well, I heard about it in school, and I know what anyone was referencing. But when you see it and you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, this is some harsh shit. And just like I said, the way the movie kind of progresses and you see how him transform and just have all his consequences be affected with others and whatnot. I don't want to spoil it or whatever on like what happens or like, all that stuff. But I will say it's a very powerful movie. It's a very relevant movie. It is well acted, well directed, and well written. Is even well shot. Like, it's just a really strong movie that I think you can't just like, it's kind of like 12 Years a Slave. You can't just like rewatch this just for the fuck of it and for the fun of it. If you want to watch it for like a filmmaking standpoint and stuff, or you do like these type of movies and you want to watch it again, sure, go ahead. But it is a very emotional movie and you can't just like rewatch it all the time. But American History X is the best thing he's ever been a part of. And unless he can top that, I don't think he will ever do. So I think American History X is the best thing he's ever touched. Brian, take it away. And first, before you give me your points, when did you first see this movie?
3 years ago, I believe.
Okay, so you and I
3 years ago.
You and I are in the same camp in terms of like we've recently seen it.
Pretty much. And the fun fact is that this movie actually came out the year I was born. So it came out the year before Fight Club. And I consider this the best film that came out the year I was born. Because to be quite honest, 1998 wasn't really the best year for film. That's kind of sad as a film over. But anyways, yeah, talk about a character transformation that's just so real, and it felt real. It felt like a documentary. Like, this movie has some sequences in black and white. All the flashbacks are in black and white, and it's great, honestly. It's, like, really, really amazing stuff. I believe the guy who directed it was slightly inspired by Raging Bull when it came to the filmmaking technique, except he didn't make the film entirely in black and white. Like, the present-day sequences are in color, and the flashbacks when you see him as like a huge supporter of the Nazis and supremacy and stuff, and it's like you're like, damn, like, this is crazy. The grocery store sequence is intense. The curb, I honestly, whenever I look at a curb, I'm just like, ugh. The scene that terrifies me is that once he gets arrested, then he turns around with the hands up and he's just doing that sinister smile, and then when he sees his brother, he's like, oh shit, what have I done? He like gets scared, and then you see him in jail and he changes, and then when he gets out, it's like, oh my god. When he goes to see his former leader, Cameron, and he's like, I will feed you your fucking heart, Cameron. I will feed you your goddamn heart if you come near my family, especially my brother. Like, that was grade A stuff. And I honestly, I would have given him the Oscar for this film, but I believe the guy from, to be quite honest, I would have to look it up who won that year. But anyway, like, it's intense from the beginning to the end. Edward Norton's performance, this is the best thing he's ever done in terms of film and performance. And I think no one could have topped it. Like, no one could have played this role as well as Edward Norton. I mean, and the shot that always gets me the most, that kind of makes me cry just a bit, is that when he gets out of the shower for the first time after he gets home from jail, and you see the swastika tattoo on his bicep, and then he puts his hand over it, that kills me, because he realizes that that's stuck with him forever, even though he wants to take it apart. Like, it makes me sad. Like, you're like, this guy really went through a lot of shit, and it's a beautiful film. It's, I mean, not like happy or anything, but it's like a film that's just so like incredible that it is super relevant to what goes on now. Like, this movie came out 18 years ago. There's still stuff that goes on to this day. I mean, we just had a film that basically explored neo-Nazism, Green Room. Like, we had that explored supremacy and skinheads and all that stuff. And yeah, American History X is not only one of the best films of Edward Norton's career, not only one of the best ones in the 90s, is one of the best films I think I've ever seen. Like, I really love American History X, and that's why it had to be my number one Edward Norton film of all time.
Yeah, listen, I always say that character transformation, character arcs, or whatever, is very important to the emotional weight of the film as you're watching, because you want to be invested in some way, shape, or form. And two of them that always come to my head now, even though I recently have just seen it, it's a very powerful performance, and it will definitely be on my list on the best character transformations. the movies in my lifetime, which is from 1990 up until now, the two I always bring up are Ellen Bernstein in Requiem for a Dream, and now Edward Norton for American History X. Two of the best character transformations I've ever seen. Because like I said, when you watch the beginning of American History X, this guy is such a fucking slime bag. And when at the end of the movie, when you finally feel sympathetic for him, come on, man. That's like the definition of like great character development, and the fact that the director manipulated you to hate him in the beginning but love him at the end. Come on, man. Like, there's not many films that can fucking do that. So, yeah, no. I was trying to look up the nominees and I couldn't find whatever. But yeah, he was nominated and whatnot. And I believe that's the same year as was that the Life is Beautiful movie, the Holocaust movie that came out?
I think that was the year before.
Well,
let's see.
I was trying to look on Box Office Mojo, and they don't have the Oscar thing on their.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. He did that. Roberto Benici won for Life is Beautiful. Tom Hanks was nominated for Private Ryan. Ian McKellen, Gods and Monsters. Nick Nolte for Affliction, and then Edward Norton for American History X. Life is Beautiful is great. Roberto Benici is great in that film, but it should have been Edward Norton. That's
a crazy list. Like I to be honest with you, I don't know. Edward Norton had some competition, but out of the ones I have seen, he is the best one, hands down. And when I watched this 2 years ago, I was just kind of shocked that this movie didn't win anything. So well, you know what? It's good to us. So that's the important thing. So that will do it for this week's list, guys. As you can see, we have 3 movies in common, which is pretty rare. But I would suggest all of these. But the top 5 list doesn't end there. We extend our list and give some honorable mentions. The ones that just barely made the list and whatnot. And I will go first. I will say that anytime when he's a part of a Wes Anderson movie, it's fantastic. So I'll give him that credit. The Illusionist. Now, The Illusionist came out around the same time as The Prestige, and I still remember, I think it was the same year. And I remember everyone was like, Battle of the Magic movies. Now, I love The Prestige more, but The Illusionist was still entertaining enough. I don't really remember the twist or the whole story and stuff, but I remember when I watched it, I was still transfixed as I was transfixed when I watched Prestige and stuff. Prestige is still a better movie, but I still enjoy that one. Let's see what else. Says I never saw The Painted Veil, which movie with Naomi Watts. I definitely need to check that out. He was in Red Dragon. Forgot about that. Haven't seen it in a while. Oh, he was in Death to Smoochy. Yeah, he was Robin Williams' sidekick. So yeah, Death to Smoochy is a weird, dark comedy, but I enjoy it. And I believe that's all the ones I've seen. Never saw Pride and Glory. Never saw Stone. Never saw The Bourne Legacy. And I saw Sausage Party today. I don't know where I would put it, but I'm going to skip that. So, So, Brian, what about you? What are some of the ones that just you want to give a shout out to?
Rounders. We talked about that a few weeks ago on the Matt Damon episode. Italian Job. I'll give a shout out to The Incredible Hulk, Grand Budapest Hotel. And you brought up The Illusionist, I'll say it too, because the thing that gets to me the most about that movie is Paul Giamatti, and his line, violence is one of the most fun things to watch. Like, that line terrifies the crap out of me. That's a pretty good film. I think I like the Prestige a little more, but The Illusionist is a pretty damn good film. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it for the honorable mentions. You brought up That's Smoochy. I actually never seen that one, so I can't comment on that one.
I would recommend anyone to watch Death to Smoochy, because the cool thing about it with Robin Williams, which is ironic because his passing was his 2-year anniversary, I think yesterday.
Yeah.
With that movie, the thing I like about Robin Williams' career the most is that his off-the-wall movies that you would never expect are his best ones. Like, I really love, like, 1 Hour Photo and stuff where he plays a really creepy photo guy.
Yes.
You would never expect that from him, but that's one of his best ones and stuff. Death to Smoochy is the same way. It's, like I said, it's such a weird, dark-ass comedy, and it's such a weird premise and whatnot. So, yeah, check it out, not only for Edward Norton, but for Robin Williams as well. It's such a weird movie, but yeah, I just I like weird shit, but that's just me though. So all right, so moving on to the shit bombs of the episode. I don't I don't know. I really don't have one because I was looking at his list and I couldn't really, especially out of the ones that I have seen, they're not really like any movies that like stand out and go, that was terrible. I guess I'll say this. It's not a terrible movie, but I do think his inclusion in Sausage Party was unnecessary and it could have really gotten anyone to do it. So I'm going to say that was the most pointless one he's done, but I'm glad he's kind of expanding his, resume. But as far as like bad ones, I don't know. I can't really think of any. What about you? Can you think of at least one?
Well, the one dishonorable mention I have is the Bourne Legacy. Like, he was good in it, but like the film, as a guy who likes Bourne, I didn't really care for that one. My worst, it's not like the worst movie I ever saw, but Kingdom of Heaven is not really that great of a movie. It's from Ridley Scott. It felt like a complete ripoff of Gladiator, and I just didn't really like that one all that much. So yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, no, his list is very young because Primal Fear, the first movie he got nominated for, was one of his first ones, and that was in '96. So he's only been acting professionally for 20 years. So he's still very young. Like, yeah, he's a little older and stuff, but his career is still young, and he's still going to crank out good shit. And eventually he will win an Oscar for sure. He's just one of those actors that's just destined to get one. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where his career goes and whatnot. In terms of, like, movies, since we did it last week, I actually want to do it this week, is look ahead at the movies that he is going to do in the future and kind of pick out our favorite ones that we're looking forward to. Let's see. So he's in an Untitled Wes Anderson project, and he's in Collateral Beauty, which is actually, I think, is that the Will Smith one coming out this year?
Yeah, that's the one we talked about last week.
Okay. It has,
like, everybody. Kate Winslet, Helen Mirren, Michael Pena, Keira Knightley, Edward Norton, obviously. Like, it's a big cast.
So out of those two projects, which one are you looking forward to the most?
Well, obviously the Wes Anderson one, because I said earlier I want him to work with Wes Anderson again. Apparently the next Wes Anderson film is going to be like an animated stop motion film again, which is awesome. And apparently it's going to involve like dogs and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
It says here that the Untitled Wes Anderson project, it says voice work. So, yeah, so it looks like he's going to play a voice, which is great because I have never seen Fantastic Mr. Fox, so take that with a grain of salt. However, every time I watch the trailer or clips of it, George Clooney's voice fits so well within that universe.
It does.
Like,
it does.
I'm only imagining that Edward Norton's voice is going to fit so well into like an animated. I mean, obviously, look at Sausage Party. Even though it wasn't his voice, it was more of an altered voice. But still, I think he's got the talent to do voice work, and I'm hearing his voice right now in a Wes Anderson animated movie, and it kind of brings me joy. So, yeah, no, that will do it, guys, for Edward Norton. So what is you guys' favorite Edward Norton film or least favorite? Comment in the place rub my face and let me know. Brian, what are we doing? Let me pull up the graphic next week.
Next week in honor of War Dogs, a film that I've actually already seen, we are going to be honoring one of the film stars, Mr. Jonah Hill.
So basically, we're tackling another Sausage Party member. So
pretty much.
Listen, yeah, you know what? I'll save my my Jonah Hill story for next week, and that's how I'll open it up or whatever. But Jonah Hill has definitely been in my life ever since my my late teenage years in high school. You know, with the Judd Apatow films and whatnot, and that's where I first saw him and whatnot. But I'll explain, you know, kind of my first true foray to him and whatnot next week to open up. But I'm really excited to talk about Mr. Jonah Hill because even though he's like a very raunchy dude in his movies, people keep forgetting the guy's been nominated for an Oscar twice. So he's got some talent. And when you watch the movies that he's been nominated for, you can see that he's got talent. So I'm not worried about when he does, like, you know, raunchy comedies or whatever, because I know that he's got the pedigree to do, you know, the dramatic roles and stuff. And he's really funny as well. So I'm excited to talk about him next week. So, Brian, I guess it's just a little tease. Are you excited to talk about The Hill next week?
Oh, of course I am. I love this guy. He's one of the funniest guys working today, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm really excited to talk about him.
Yeah, so Jonah Hill next week, guys. So it should be very, very fun. That will do it for this week's episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live. I know it was a little shorter this week, guys, but hey, that's what happens when you know your shit and you just, just firing away. But Edward Norton's just one of those guys. You don't need to stutter on him. You don't need to pause to think about him. He's just that good to talk about. So, Brian, before we go, where can people find you online?
Twitter at BrianSuts98 and on YouTube at Brian Sutfield.
Awesome. If you guys can find me at Real Chase Lee right here, bam. And once again, if you're watching on YouTube, audio-only version, link in the description below. If you're listening on Spreaker, video version will be a link in the description below. All of our links and YouTubes and Twitters and stuff will be in the description box as well. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live. I'm Chase Lee.
I'm Brian Sutfield.
That's fucking right. Jonah Hill next week. Get your fucking shit together because it's going to be goddamn crazy. And the intro and outro music is done by my friend's band, Fervent Roze. Link in the description below. We'll see you guys next week. Play that music. Oh, man. Edward Norton. That fucking bagel, man. All right, we'll see you guys next week.